Ladies and gentlemen, this is JoeJinMovieSoAwesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Won-Jin.
The Scroll Friender. Won-Jin, a.k.a. the Scroll Friender. But anyway, today we are going to talk about The Sinner. Season 1, 2018. Full spoilers ahead. It's been 6 years since it was out, but we're still going to put the spoilers warning for y'all.
Just in case.
Yeah. Big shout out to Scott Walker. Big shout out to ZZ. Big shout out to Lee Chan Hong. And all our 43 subscribers. Here we go. So, Won-Jin, let me go first.
Okay.
I had a great time with this series because it's one of those what happened thriller, whodunnit thriller that reminds me a lot of the airport novel thrillers in the 90s and 80s. A lot of the movies like that too. And Won-Jin, you mentioned True Detective, and I also agree with that because there was this, maybe it's something more sinister vibe going on. But what I also liked about it was, it's the woman-centeredness of it. Really, I enjoyed it much more than I thought. I mean, before I watched this series, as much as I enjoyed Jessica Biel's performance, I thought her acting was really amazing. And overall, up to the last episode, it kept me on my toes. And it was just a great thriller. A great thriller.
I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but I think today we're having this sort of like bad connection. We're seeing a lot of frame drops. So I apologize for the poor connection. But yeah, it also gave me a lot of the 90s vibe. Not just, like the murder element, but also I had this feeling that maybe this is like going out of proportion, and maybe the woman is like
what's up, Scott Walker?
Like this part of the MK Ultra program or something.
Yeah,
because I had that feeling up until like episode 3 or 4, like maybe she's like a sleeper agent or something.
Yo, I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to say that later, but since you brought it up, I'm gonna say this. Like the first half and the last half does seem a little bit different, though. What I mean was, Won-Jin, I think you mentioned also Fargo once, but to be honest, I don't see this as level to Fargo or True Detective Season 1. Because what Fargo and True Detective does well is put that ominous and weird vibe through the final episode even. But here, it started off up till season 4, and then it kind of turned to a more traditional thriller for me. Like all those like mystery elements potentially kind of disappeared around episode 5 and 6 for me. It just became a more clear-cut thriller in the fact that remember, they were trying to confuse us on who's wearing the mask. And then I thought it could be Jessica Biel's husband. And there were all these like misdirections. But
so up until that point, there were so many like possibilities open.
No, but I thought you were trying to say that the misdirection in the early first half had even more like, something off about it. Something like weird and potentially sinister. Is this like that? But after 5, I just thought there was just misdirection in the fact that, okay, this is going to become something more of a traditional thriller. Like a ghost, the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yes.
Maybe that's a more apt comparison. Because that movie definitely, David Fincher's version definitely had his like filming technique that gave us the mood, but it turned out it was really just about, a sick serial killer thing. Hey boys, how you doing this weekend? Yo, Walker, we haven't decided what to let's talk about yet, but we saw your comments. But we're gonna do that after the next one after this one. Oh, we were talking about Sinner. I love the first season. So trippy, yeah, ZZ. They were into human merch, like selling humans. Yeah, there were definitely possibilities open in the first half. Because Won-Jin, like your sleeper agent stuff is actually dead on, like Bourne Identity shit, right?
Yeah, because I think the end of the first episode the detective Bill Pullman, played by Bill Pullman, he realizes that like the seemingly random attack that he got from Jessica Biel was in the same pattern, and to me it looked like it was like a very efficient way of like these like stabbing points to make a sure kill. And I was thinking maybe that requires years of training. So maybe Jessica Biel had been trained to do that.
Yeah.
Instead of just like playing something from her memory.
No, but like that's a great idea, Won-Jin. But I didn't actually mind the fact that like the Catholic theme, like and the redemption theme. I think so. I think what they did was they had a little bit of all those different tastes like sprinkled in to confuse us. So that's why this is more of a thriller, a traditional thriller to me, like a traditional what happened, who done it thriller, you know, the mystery thing, and it's really about puzzle solving. And the other thematic layers are more, they're not really layers, they're just spice for me. So, but because, you know, the reason why is, you know, I thought that they might be a cult because the police guy, the detective, he was into kinky stuff and like like being dominated and all that, and I just. So what I'm saying is, like, again, the first half had all that. By the last half, it just became a traditional one where, you know, justice prevails, and the cops are like, we shared the pain.
Yeah, and we have the traditional resolution of a story.
Yeah. So, did you think that was like kind of a cop off? I actually liked it, but it didn't have that lingering taste that True Detective season 1 or Fargo gave me, though, because that gave me a lot to think about. Like, what is identity? What is life?
So that's a great comparison because you earlier mentioned like those like airport novels. So this feels like an airport novel, whereas work like Fargo, we mentioned that word last time regarding to Sopranos, but it feels like literature. So I mean, airport novels, they are also literature.
Okay, first of all,
in terms of genre, but what I mean here is like, is it the type of literature that has like a certain depth to it? But obviously, this is somewhere in between, like
greatness.
Yeah, like a Pulp Fiction, not the movie Pulp Fiction, but you know, like those cheap novels, and like a great novel. It's somewhere in between. So. Again, I feel the same, that after finishing the entire season, I felt like it was entertaining, but is it up to par with work like Fargo?
No, but I would give this season 1 credit, because you know why? If you really think about it, none of this shit makes sense. But what you know what a great thriller does is make us, you know, suspend our disbelief about these twists and turns in human life. And what really, up till episode 6 and 7, it really put me in my seat. I couldn't guess what's going to happen next. See, but I want to add something to what Won-Jin you said. Like, you said literature. We apologize to our subscribers in behalf of me and Won-Jin, the scroll friender, for sounding so pompous. Okay, but we're going to do that. Hey, Won-Jin, I think you'll agree. The Sinner, I'm not going to watch again, like season 1. I might if I get bored, but I think literature, the point is we all know the story, but we read it anyway. I think this one lacked that element, that rewatchability, because like the mystery of what happened was such a big part, not the story itself. Because, you know, like even you could argue that True Detective is a very predictable story. You're going to catch a serial killer. But it added all this weird elements about character building of those two.
And same goes for work like Breaking Bad and everything. There are these like points, and there's some detail on all these characters that you get to witness how these characters evolve. And it's always a joy to watch those details happening. But I think I agree with you, because in my case, what I consider great work always needs to be rewatchable over and over. That's what makes something great for me, because every time I watch it, I despite knowing what's about to happen, I'm always be able to be entertained. So
I was also surprised that Detective Ambrose was also a sinner himself. Yeah, but Sissy, you know why I had a problem with that? Because I thought they would delve more into that. You know, because Ambrose, I mean, he was an interesting character, but you know, the reason why I mentioned 90s novel is that sure seemed like a divorce like theme. You know, like how do you make us like feel sorry for a cop? Yeah, of course he's having a divorce because he's a cop. He has a hard ass job. How do you make us feel bad for a villain? Oh, he lost a child. So there are a lot of tropes in it that I thought was noticeable. You know, of course he's a hard-boiled detective. Of course he's gonna have problem with his wife. Of course he's gonna cheat. You know, and that gave me a lot of you mentioned Pulp Fiction, but a lot of you know, the 20s and 30s novels of like those hard-boiled cops, that kind of stuff. Yeah, not comparable to Fargo, but it was in the same vibe. Like there's a weird vibe in there, and it's obvious. Yeah, Joe, they got more into his personal life in season 2 and 3. Oh, okay.
You know, so just looking at the first season, that detail on Detective Ambrose, to me, it kind of, after finishing the first season, felt like an attempt trying to add some dimension to the
that's a good
character,
way to put
but
it.
they did not go far enough.
Right. Or I would say they quit in the middle because it turns out like he's a nice guy. Yeah, I feel in the car like, yeah, Bill, you know, sometimes you get, you know, I wanted to joke like, no, sometimes you do not go to a sex party and mistakenly like see your sister die and then go to get kidnapped by the parents and then get like heroin dose and then thrown out for 3 months. I wanted to ask the father, like, why just kill her? Like this is why this is such a 90s thriller, because like you're like, what? Just kill her already. You know, like I mean, I'm sorry if I sound crude, but why would you keep her alive? You already went that far. Like you already decided to hide an accidental death.
And basically buried her body in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. No, but okay, but here's the thing though. Secretly, I did love Jessica Biel, the sister like love. I did like that a lot, though. I thought the actors did a fantastic job, except Biel did not look like a high school girl at all. Like, I was like, oh, will I be... Woman, you're the hottest one there! And you're like, what? Just go to school! I was like, what are those abs? You're not a high school girl! That didn't make sense to me. Like, is that sexist? I'm just being honest.
Maybe they should have gotten like a different actress to play her part as a student.
Like, okay, am I being sexist? Because she was hot as hell. Oh no, everybody's going for her.
I mean, there are some actresses who can still pull off being like a high school student. For example, what's her name?
Well, who?
The actress who played in Mean Girls. What was her name?
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember her
name. She
name.
was also the girlfriend of Doctor Strange.
And Rachel McAdams.
Oh, Rachel McAdams, that's right. She can pull it off. Yeah, because she still has that like baby face. But Jessica Biel, yeah, that was like a far reach. Yeah. But I also like that contrast between the sisters. And the fact that they live in the super strict Catholic home.
Yeah, I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
I like the babysitter was really realistic to me because you know how people who can't want, you know how like middle-aged men who are married tend to talk more about sex than 20-year-old because they can't get it. Like I like that psychology of her, and the actor did a great job of letting us know that it's not mean-spirited. Like her attraction to sex or want to be a bad. Of course she does. She's locked up in that, and I thought. I mean, by episode 6, I kind of expected that the dead body would be her, because the show did a great job of whether it's that Mary Magdalene girl, the original girlfriend, or her, but. Even though before it happened, I kind of predicted it, but it was still very moving and very heartbreaking to see her die. Yeah. And then that guy actually turning out trying to save her. Yeah. So it brought a lot of complicated human emotions.
And that also got tied to the first episode where one of his friends, the guy who died, the med school student, his friend, by the way, who's a very good observer, he realized that when he saw Jessica Biel's face, he kind of had that look of like relief and also like recognition of her. So after all that story unfolded, I finally understood why that I mean he behaved the way he did when he died.
Oh, but well, Biel looked quite simple and literally next. No, but Desi, like, you got to remember, she's a famous actor, so she carries with her that sex symbol like image for me at least. Tell me if I'm wrong, because that's how. Because remember, she was in Blade 3.
Blade 3.
Yeah, she was like back then. She was like the hot woman role.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's sexist, but that was her image until I saw this show where I did love her. One of my favorite scenes is like her just sitting on the phone and say, "So what are you doing, cop?" And like, he's like, "Oh yeah," like they started to like get to know each other, human bonding and all that.
My most impressive moment of Jessica Biel was when she was just sitting on that beach and she walked into that lake.
Mm.
Man,
a lot of subtle acting was needed for this role because, because the name is good, the sinner, because she's tormented, and even the use of memory, like that was interesting. That was. I'm sure it's not scientific and all that, but it was a great like show device, like when Ambrose stepped in and he was like, "I'm gonna watch," and then like the show did a great job on us not making us think about it too much. A lot of it is like kind of pseudoscientific to me. Possibly, I'm not an expert, but but it was like a great story devices of unpeeling her onion and getting into her, and I liked those scenes a lot.
And one thing I also, after finishing the show, one thing that made me laugh, we talked about the med student's father. Why didn't he get rid of that wallpaper?
Right.
Why just like paste another wallpaper over it? Just rip that thing off and just paste it.
Yeah.
You went through the trouble of repapering the whole wall. So why not just rip them all off or just paint over it?
Yeah. Oh, that's St. Ambrose, yeah. He's also a flower and he's obsessed with plants. Yeah, I like those details, except I don't know though. Like the Catholic element. How can I say it? I thought Fargo did a better job on that. Just about sin in general, because what Fargo has is that, what do you call it, destiny moment almost, like where it's like we don't understand the rules of the universe, and that theme is, that's what True Detective also has, where
it's all those choices that you make in those moments.
And the show, like even in True Detective, that criminal says we're gonna see each other again, and so they add that lemon here. It's more of, I guess, a personal sin. It's about, so add to Zezi's comment, then the difference here is this is a deeply personal redemption story, though. Like, and Jessica Biel and Ambrose. I mean, Ambrose has his own redemption, I guess. So that is a Catholic theme then. So, but did it impact me as much as True Detective or Fargo? No, but I did enjoy it. So I know what you mean, Zedzi. Well, so I think the only hints about his life in order to gradually give more him. Oh, okay. Because season 2, I only watched one episode, and I didn't want to watch anymore. Because for a while, I'm not going to say any spoilers because that really wasn't my thing. I was just like, I was not ready for that. Maybe a little too dark for me, but I'm going to eventually watch it. But yeah, we're talking about The Sinner, 2018, Scott Walker, and then we're going to talk about Agatha All Along, and then we're going to do a Let's Talk Man. So anyway, do you have anything to add, or?
Well, I think we just pretty much covered everything. So yeah, I did like those like subtle acting from Biel. I also loved like the mystery that slowly unfolded. And although again it did not have the depth that we saw from Fargo and everything, but still overall I enjoyed watching the show. I think it's a very good like a detective cop show. If you're not into something like that's too deep, yet you don't want to watch like, I don't know, what is it called, like CSI?
I kind of like that the main story focuses around something that happens to a certain point, talking about partying, abuse of substance abuse. Yeah. No, but I did, like, now that Zezzy mentioned that, I did see that as like feminist a little bit. I like that, because it wasn't overt, but I like that woman redemption story. Because like she's immediately slut shamed, so it is a huge theme of this series, and I like how she's redeemed But sometimes I wish they wouldn't be mothers and stuff. You know, it's always easy to make a mother likable.
And I also kind of really like the way the husband was written, the husband guy, because at first he was like in shock, in denial. He did not even visit his wife in prison. Obviously, when she needed the family support, and yet he maintains that faith in her. And I love how he has that like own like this rogue cop moment. He tries to sneak in to that what's his name's house.
Yeah.
JB was it?
Yeah.
Or J something.
Yeah.
JD. And it was small detail, but I remember when he was being interrogated by the detective, like being asked if he was armed when he made a visit to it. Like he broke into the house, and he chose not to lie there. And I was like, oh, okay, so maybe this guy is like the opposite of the sinner here, at least.
No, but the first half, I want to add to that because I thought that was a payoff on. Remember the car scene where he talks to his ex fling, the cop woman, and she complains that you exploited me, you used me to just have sex with me and then not call me. And I thought there was just overlying theme of everybody's a little bit of a sinner kind of element, but I didn't think they delve like deep into that.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just an element in a thriller story, let's put it that way. It wasn't like a major element. And season 8 episode, like the length of it was also perfect too. I think if you wanted to invite those themes in, I think it takes a lot of I mean this show was pretty ambitious on itself, but I thought they did a great job of editing and cutting in a perfect way to not add too much to it. Because for me, like, True Detective does well because there's a lot of foreshadowing in True Detective where, you know how when Russ looks up the sky and the sky turns suddenly like the universe whirlwind, right?
Yeah,
it's been building up to that.
Those birds flying.
And so that but see, like the bird was building up to that, and you have to ask ourselves, now that we're in Carcosa, is that real? Is there like something going on? And then the show ends like, no, fuck that. We're not going to answer. But here, it's kind of all answered, and it's all, the husband had two sides. He was an uneducated
peasant.
I wasn't going to read that word, even if he doesn't know how to express his love in a healthy way. No, I thought it was. I thought it was just more of a realistic relationship portrayal, though. ZZ. I don't know about him being lower class or anything. I guess he was a car mechanic or something there. No, house builder or something. But I thought it was just a realistic, portrayal of like real life marriage couple.
And I also want to give a shout out to the actor who played JD. He's a familiar face because I remember him from this comedy movie called Euro Trip, like 20 years ago.
Yeah, he played a POS really well.
He's a tremendous. He was a very good comedy actor back there, and I was surprised to see him play this piece of shit, and he was really good at it.
I was surprised to see Eugene Provenzano in Witness Protection from Soprano, because he's playing the father of the husband. But anyway, hey man, let's give a number grade. I think we talked enough about this show.
I would give this show like a 7.
7?
Yeah, I would give it a 7, or maybe 6.5. But I think I'll be generous. I can give this a 7.
The squirrel friender is being generous. Prepare the squirrels for more nuts. I give it a 7 too, because because if it was the first half, I would give it an 8. But for me, after it just gradually became a little bit more predictable, and I didn't mind it. It was a great entertainment. I would give it a 7. Yeah, Zizzy. All right, so JoeJinMovieSoAwesome gives us The Sinner Season 1 2018 a 7. Guys, we're going to take a short break and be right back to talk about Agatha All Along, episode 1 through 3. This has been JoeJinMovieSoAwesome. I'm with the Scroll Friender.
I'm Won-Jin.
See you next time. Bye, bye, bye. Why, you don't like it now? Huh? You don't like it, Squirrel Whisperer?
Squirrels.
I thought you liked it. I like that you liked